Hey, where are you guys? You know what? What I'm gonna say. Um, okay, in the '80s, when I was a kid, and a young adult. How's that? My buddy John Stranansky and I would drive up and down the state of California to see gigs, do interviews, and all that other stuff that one does when they're thinking they're a rock and roll photographer and a journalist. Yeah, it's Dread. Um, we literally drive to, it was like either a gig or an interview, and we would just get in his car and drive. Um, um, and sometimes it'd be like San Francisco a couple days, and then off to LA. we did a lot of stuff. But so what I'm trying to get at is last 2 days, Tuesday and today, I drove Charles. Um, Jeepers must be 500 plus miles. Cape Cod to uh, um, New Haven, Connecticut, to someplace called Millbrook or Fallbrook or something, um, um, on the other side of Connecticut, and then back down to Truro. I have to be pretty lost. So Charles has this old Nissan Frontier. It's like 2012 or something like that. So it's been there, and it's a fucking workhorse. And then I haven't driven. I mean, I'm a metropolitan person. I take Uber or public transportation because I don't live that far from anything in Honolulu. um, so um, so when I used to have a beautiful red Jeep Cherokee, and I drove that to hell and back because I would. Hi, Rich McCauley. There's a band called Sparkle Jet. Actually, before that, there's a band called Eastside Indians. You all from Fresno will remember Eastside Indians. They were a monster band, five-piece, very eclectic, like Black Crows before Black Crows kind of thing, or just as Black Crows were getting started. They were down and dirty. It was great. Keyboard player like Bentmonch Trench, Sean Gatlin. Hello, Sean. Sean's he was in the Manson before anybody else, Marilyn Manson before anybody else was. He was that kind of on that punky thingy, and my cousin Anthony Bustos was really like a Native American Jim Morrison, and Peter Wolf rounded out Peter Wolf, just a straight ahead drummer, great drummer though. Turns out to be a great producer in the Fresno area, and my buddy Rich McCauley. um, and I would like if they had they would like 4:30 on a Friday, pack their trucks up and go play like from Fresno to San Jose, Fresno, San Francisco, Fresno, LA, whatever. And then I was like, yeah, I was doing nothing. And then I really wanted coming out of the '80s. I needed a real rock and roll band. I didn't need a like friggin' prima donnas. We're gonna get signed, man. We're gonna have limos and stuff. I wanted a really great working class rock band that just rocked for rock and roll reasons, and that was Eastside Indians. When they broke up, Rich moved in with me and my buddy Tony, God rest his soul, Tony Maddox. That's a story on its own. Tony Maddox was just this, but then he formed Sparkle Jet, which Sparkle Jet was, I did my first album cover, as a web designer or what do you call it, digital artist way back in 1990, whatever it was. um, and the same thing. I would, get my beautiful red Jeep Cherokee, drive to Fresno, um, pack their stuff up, and go Sacramento or San Jose or Santa Cruz or San Francisco or LA. And it was great. 3 shows a weekend, and they would just drive, and it was fun. It was rock and roll the way it's supposed to be, not like this, hey man. But so that's what it kind of meant. I did that all the time, and in my um, mid to early 30s, even for a long time until like um, I moved Honolulu. So like Rich McCullough's always been in my life for like my 30 my 30s. So, but it's a little different. I don't know Charles's truck. I don't know the laws in Connecticut or Rhode Island or Massachusetts. I don't know what they because in California they tell you, speed by check by radar, or there's air patrol, or there like my mom would say, when you go past the bridge, look behind you. Always look behind you. Um, and so it was good. The truck was good. Anyway, the long story boring. We made it, and then traditionally, or what I would like to do, would have 3 or 4 hours of each person I'm interviewing. 3 to 4 hours. Get in there, get a lot of footage, and then go. The unfortunate pleasure, watch this. Unfortunately, Charles's Parkinson's kicked his butt. And so if I get 15, 20, 30 minutes with one of his friends, that's great. And then Charles just blanks out. I mean, the poor guy. It's really disheartening because when I met Charles, he was a monster. He was Ansel Adams, one part Ansel Adams, one part Timothy O'Leary, and one part Dr. Hunter S. Thompson. That was Charles, nonstop. I mean, he was just. And then his wife Gail was totally opposite. Very calm, very demure, very prim and proper East Coast lady. She was amazing. So, needless to say, the interview with Snake yesterday should have gone on a lot longer, but a lot of stuff happened, and Charles just blanked out, and he was gone. I mean, I really could have talked to Snake for like hours because there's. And then with Ronnie, I got a good half an hour with Ron Page. Sorry. Ron is like really, I would say, Renaissance man. Um, he did a lot of everything, and he was like the ringleader of their group. Um, anyway, and then Mark Nasso showed up, like I said yesterday. It was good, but I wish I had more time because as we got there, Charles just went, and I knew he had to. It was just horrible. I feel bad for Charles. Hi, Charles. But as you think about putting this thing together, you have an idea how to back up the photographs because the photographs are the most important thing. So I'm thinking what conversation to do, how to evolve this conversations with the photographs. Unfortunately, I can't take Charles to Maine, or I've got to play. Charles is road dead. I mean, we had it. He did as best he could, and so I have to figure out other ways of getting some of his other friends on camera, or at least their voice on camera, and explain some of these photographs. Okay, that's fine. Tomorrow starts another segment, and we get through all the Cape Cod people, and there's a lot of them, and they're monsters. They've done a lot of things. These are artistic people to the nth degree. Published authors, published painters and photographers and stuff like business owners. So keep and Terry Abelson's tomorrow. Terry's a monster. If you're into the blues, like I've been saying, you got to know Terry. You got to find his book. He has a radio show. The guy's done a lot of things. He has 3 or 4 Grammys, wrote songs for Muddy Waters, Prince. He kind of like discovered George Thorogood. This guy's a monster. And then a bunch of other people. I'm exhausted. But it's this story needs to be told. Charles is an amazing photographer, and unfortunately, Parkinson's is kicking his ass, like I would say all the time. And then we talk about things all the time, and what can we do to alleviate or kind of mitigate or something ate your symptoms? What can we do to help you rewire your brain? We gotta do something. And I'm being me, but I do have a routine. There's certain things you do at certain times to keep this going, whatever it is. There's I have a vitamin routine from hell. I mean, being an Aquarius, the rebel of the zodiac, the kings of zodiac, I have a routine. And I need to keep this routine only because if you go out of balance, you go out of balance. And so I, talked to Charles I had plenty of time, one-on-one for Charles, legend. And I said, dude, you have to spend X amount of time doing this, X amount of time. Every day needs to be segmented to help this get back to better. Did I think it helped? No. But still, since I'm here for a week and a half still, you have to do something. It's like your buddy, he's fading away, and you don't want him to fade away because, I might have selfish, this guy's a nice guy, amongst other things. So that being said, 500 plus miles. My mom drove a lot, and she had a lead foot. She was charmed. She would drive 5 kids, my dad in a Pontiac Safari, or then we had a Ford van, and she was just a monster driver. She knew what to be, and then you get the driving skills, and so and you don't get to drive that far in Oahu. We're talking 500 plus miles, over 3 states, and just open land. I mean, California, yeah, it would be no problem. Monterey to LA is like 300 something. It's like 400 miles, one way, so I'm used to do the hard. It's just fun, I just wish I got more time with Snake and a little bit more time with Ronnie Page. When you see the I'll have to post some teaser photographs because Charles is formative years as a photographer. These guys were in it. Ronnie Page was a lot in it, and they're in the 70s, so early 70s. What are they doing besides drinking beer and getting stoned? They're planning out their futures. Ronnie was a carpenter, then became a brewmaster. Now he's a caterer. He has a beautiful house, beautiful old house in the back hills of Connecticut, way back there someplace. It's a beautiful house, like 2-3 acres or whatever, stuff like that. He has a garden, he has this, he has that, and the house is just beautifully old. And it's, it's fine. Snake, on the other hand, lived in the same building same apartment for 29 years. Snake, Tom was a retired professor at UConn or whatever, in some university in New Haven, and he taught English composition, English in history. He's a very accomplished guy, but he lives in a small apartment. And he's lived in the same apartment for 29 years. And Ronnie said he hasn't left that neighborhood since he was born. And look at Charles. Charles lived everywhere. When Charles got married to Gail, and then they moved in, then they moved here, and then Charles always wanted to go to Hawaii. Moved because Charles has been coming to Hawaii for since 1980, and he's always loved the culture, loved the people, loved the thing, and finally. I mean, we've been hanging out for a couple of years, and he finally bought a condo, really nice condo in Discovery Bay, which is not a great view. But he moved around and stuff. Anyway, I rambled on a lot. I'm tired. I'm doing my backups tonight. I have to back up every night, as you know, and then you kind of look at things, and so you get your brain processes. What photographs was this conversation? How maybe the video wasn't great, but the sound's great, and what photographs to flash before there. How about that? Anyway, yeah. I'm back in Truro, and I think there's a couple, no more road trips, but small trips, because Charles being Charles and being a publisher, there's certain things I want to film him in front of, or take him there and talk about certain things, because Cape Cod's been very important since 2000. I think he's been here, right? For 25 years, this has been his home, and a major force in his creative career. And so we're doing that and mixed in, and I have my bestie driving up on Friday, and then I have 2 special people showing up on Monday morning. I don't want to say anything else about that, but you'll see it. Anyway, hope you guys are well. Hope you all's doing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. I don't want to. I have to do that because everybody else does it, right? Subscribe to my channel. Like my posts. Leave a comment, kind of thing. I'm gonna try to put some teasers up, time permitting, because I can. But when you see some things, and then you'll see what I'm talking about, which is kind of important, and bring you on the trip and stuff like that. Anyway, from the dungeon of Charles Field Studio in North Truro, Massachusetts, it's Bill saying, hope you all well, man. Okay, thank you for everything. I'll talk to you tomorrow.